Welcome to another edition of Living Simply Fun. I'm your host, Rita. That's Aaron. Aaron, what is today's extra special video going to be about?
It's actually very rare that we've deviated from doing cigar reviews, and
and these are my new pants. I'm just trying to pull them up a bit. So,
I had an observation, just something that came up. Sitting on the bus, minding my own business, heading off to a town nearby called Freda, Washington. I live in a small town called Quincy. Last year, we had a record number of forest fires. Well, not so much forest fires as wildfires. We have lots of sagebrush around here. You wouldn't know it from what you've seen of Seattle and the areas around there. It seems like a rainforest. Mount Rainier is a lot of forest area too. But you get out to where we are, it's all desert, not much rain, don't know why. It's a valley. Winds come through here real fast, and it makes for ideal conditions for fires to spread and get out of hand. Many farmers last year lost their farms. It happens almost every year. And of course, I'm smoking while discussing this. This has nothing to do with the wildfires. Sorry, I almost let this go out. I don't want to do that either. Because, after all, I'm reviewing it as we speak. So, anyways, almost every single time I take the bus, I get on the bus, we're driving along, and there's a smoke puff coming up over here, a smoke puff coming up over there, and another smoke puff over there. And usually on the way there, I see 15 to 20 smoke puffs between here and Freda. These are fires going. On the way back, another maybe 5 to 10 puffs, but it's been like 2 hours, so the other puffs should all be out by now. Now, question is, if you're a farmer, and you're worried about losing all your crops from a wildfire, then why would you take this sagebrush and your garbage leaves and stuff and go and burn them? Why would you burn your refuse? Period. Wind comes through, it goes and blows the smoke, blows charred pieces, blows some of that ash, and it takes it away. And it blows it down where there's other sagebrush and things and crops. And then the wind coming through at 30, 40 miles per hour stokes the flame and then causes your whole field to go up. And then you got to go and file with the Department of Agriculture to recoup your losses, because woe is you, you lost your whole crop of corn because you burnt an old tree that came down on your property, or you burnt the sagebrush, tumbleweeds, or whatever else that was on your farm growing, and I don't know. There's something horribly wrong with that. If they want to do this stuff, why don't they take the refuse someplace safe to have it burned? Do you have any idea, Rita? I mean, seriously.
I would take it to like the dump. There is sections of the dump where you can dump lawn materials and everything else. And what the dump does is they take it to a place that composts it and make it into manure. But no, you got these idiots doing what they're doing.
And you'd think on a farm you wouldn't necessarily want to destroy all that stuff anyways. You could grind it up and stuff and add nutrients back to your soil and make kind of fertilizer and till it underneath of the field that you're not using because you're rotating. I know a little bit about agriculture.
I knew a guy that owned.
I know if you grow corn in section 1 of your farm, next year you do not grow corn in section 1 of your farm. You either A, grow a soybean, or B, you let that section go and you till junk under it, basically.
I knew a guy that grew, he had a 640-acre farm, and his house was on it, and he got a dirt cheap near a creek, fishing, etc. And you know what he grew? Christmas trees. He allotted all the land off, at least all the land except for his house. He basically knew what he was doing because the Christmas tree, after 7 years, the same company that managed the Christmas trees, that's the popcorn thing that you got, the hose thingy, the wet noodle, would turn around and change over to strawberries or raspberries or something. While growing something else after 7 years of growing Christmas trees, they'd rotate every, so long.
You got to do that so that the nutrients can return to the soil and then you don't destroy your crops, basically. Anybody pretty much knows this. Even the tobacco farms down in Nicaragua and Honduras and Cuba and Puerto Rico and everywhere else. I wonder if there's a Puerto Rican Puro. Anyways, all these places that grow tobacco, they know good and well, don't keep growing tobacco in the same spot every year. Rotate your fields around. That way you can replenish the nutrients and continue having good crops. Sometimes it's just a horrible year, and sometimes you'll just till all that under and let that become nutrients for the next harvest season. But seriously, I don't understand what's with these farmers out here. And I'm going to be tagging Grant County wildfires in the thing below. It's possible I might get some views on this. And I don't think there should be much negative flack because, in all honesty, it doesn't make sense when you live in a windy valley and your crops are equal to your livelihood and you're going to set fire to your refuse, 50 feet from your crops when we have dry climates and heat, and it's a dry heat. There's no humidity. Even though crops get watered and everything, you're still not watering the grass and the sagebrush, and you're not, why would you risk that? It makes no sense to me. And I don't understand that if you took a chance in burning refuse near your crops and your crops go up and you lose your whole field, why it is that you would end up having some form of compensation from the Department of Agriculture or whatever organization helps cover that. I don't know if it's FEMA or whatnot. I'm not entirely informed on this. It's just something that struck me as weird, unusual, and strange, and didn't make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, in a way, I'm kind of ranting about it. In a way, I'm also questioning it. If you happen to be a farmer in an extremely dry area and you understand what's going on with these burn piles, then maybe you could correct me to why it's okay to have a burn pile in the middle of summer 50 feet from your crops that are your livelihood. If I'm wrong and nobody compensates at all, which I assume there is, then tell me I'm wrong. But explain to me then why you would risk it knowing there's no compensation. You lose your crops, you lose your crops. I wouldn't even take the chance. You're putting firefighters' lives at risk. You're putting your crops at risk. You're putting your own life at risk. It just doesn't make sense to have a burn bin or anything like that, or a burn pile on your farm or in your orchard. It just makes no sense. And I shouldn't be, every single time I'm going and driving from here to another place 17 miles away, I'm seeing 15 to 20 smoke piles. There shouldn't be that many fires going. Sometimes I see 3 or 4 in one property. And it's like, why do you have 3 or 4 fire piles? Well, too much likelihood you're going to get one out of control. That's probably why I hear fire trucks almost every single day flying out of town with their sirens going, 4 or 5 of them. It just makes no sense. So, anyways, that's my rant. I got nothing further to say. Please add and subscribe. Leave questions, comments, feedback, suggestions. All we ask is that you keep it nice. I kept it nice. I didn't swear or anything. I'm asking legitimate questions as well as wondering why. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, Anybody willing to set me straight, just do so nicely. Anybody who thinks that I'm a moron because I don't understand the way it works, hey, I don't work in a farm. I haven't had much experience being in a farm other than in Kentucky, and the Kentucky farms weren't dry as hell. So, and I never saw burn piles in the Kentucky farms. I think they're a little smarter sometimes in Kentucky. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. For those of you who are my fans of cigar reviews and you don't like my rants, sorry about that, but it is something that happens now again. It is living simply and fun, and this is something that I find both educational for myself, and maybe it'll end up being something that's educational for somebody else who didn't think about it. Maybe it'll end up having the county put a ban on setting fires on your farm during the summertime. I mean, there's water restrictions in other communities and stuff. Usually those bans are city limits only. Well, take care of yourselves. Thanks for tuning in. Have a nice day.